Explain. It's better. Is this what this is?
Just don't break them.
That's the advice.
And a class.
Yeah. Thank you.
Always land in, don't land in,
Okay.
in the bushes.
Good workshop. What about farm implements?
Yeah.
No,
Land on something soft.
Another DLG
You just
fantasy.
don't fly over
Never
stuff.
land
No
out
kidding.
of
That's
Okay.
yeah,
But I did save Ivan's life.
that's true. I don't know if it was worth it.
Oh.
Okay, so I'll start with flight modes. That's like the key thing. So we have, I usually use, let's say, 5.5 flight modes. Most of you are familiar with it. So we have launch mode, which helps with rotation. So the elevator goes up a little bit to pitch the nose, and the ailerons, in my case, they actually go up a little bit. So yeah, they go up a little bit. Most people they prefer the ailerons to go down, like again, half a millimeter, maybe 1 millimeter. And I measured it for myself, and for me, this works better. For some other people who measured it, it was the opposite. Like the ailerons going down work better. If they go down, they increase the lift on the wing, and it kind of helps with rotation. And I think it's a matter of launching style, because I've noticed that I don't launch straight, I launch up. So maybe that's the reason. But for me, that's why altimeter is helpful. Like have a receiver with altimeter, you do like 10 launches this way, 10 launches that way. You go home, you analyze it, you see the average height. For me, it was like 2 meters higher. So that's why I do it since. Yeah, so the way you want it to do it, you want the model to rotate as fast as possible to a vertical angle, and then as soon as you let go of the button, which is like half a second maybe, the model goes up straight like an arrow, and that's called the zoom mode, which is really, really close to speed, but not exactly, because in speed mode you usually have a little bit of down trim, so the model will, like if you leave the model in speed mode during zoom, you will do this. So you don't want that. You want it to go up as straight as possible. And again, that's zoom mode. And then when you see that the model is getting less energetic, that's where you want the pushover. So you want to push down a lot. You get as much as you can, like have the down elevator to maximum. Snap flap, same thing. The aileron goes up a little bit to kind of reduce the lift, and then the model will do this. The thing is that when most people, when they do that, it happens to me until today all the time. Like you try to give it like a little bit more, and then the model does this and stalls because it loses energy, and then you lose like 5 or 6 meters easily. No, like for no reason. Instead, you prefer to push a little bit earlier for the model to have more energy. Otherwise, you'll just stall. It'll take some time for it to pick up the speed, and for the pilot to get the right orientation. So you wanted the model to have some energy when it exits the climb, like the pushover. Even with a little bit of down, like there's no problem of doing this. It's okay because it still has energy. It has the speed. It maintains its heading and attitude, and you can still fly it the way you want to. And then after that, we have the main 3 flight modes, which everybody are familiar. So we have speed. In speed mode, the way I trim it is for the model to be kind of like if I push the nose down a little bit, it barely pitches up. So it's kind of neutral. So if I keep the nose down, it will keep going like at the same angle more or less. It will probably pitch up just a little bit, but very, very little. Because in speed mode, you want it to go fast. You want to come back. You don't want to touch the elevator or any surfaces. So in speed mode, you'll see it'll pitch down a little bit. You'll take it a couple of seconds. So the model will do this. You'll accelerate and you'll keep going at roughly the same angle. If you want to accelerate, you give a little bit more down, you'll accelerate more. The difference is that you fly fast and a little bit less efficient, meaning in terms of L over D, that's like how much ground you cover compared to your speed. So you go, like your ground speed is fast, but but you're losing altitude faster as well. So you want to use that mode when you really want to push and come back fast. Like if you need to go to a turnaround, or you're really far away downwind and you have to come back because otherwise you will end in the bushes or in the corn.
At max L over D, your glide speed may be less than the wind speed. So even though you're gliding most efficiently, you're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah,
so you got to exceed the wind speed, so you're giving up glide angle for that.
Yeah. Basically, you're trading your you're trading altitude and efficiency for ground speed, which is sometimes what you need and what you want. I used to use that mode a lot. Today, I try to use it a little bit less. I just kind of get used to do the same thing in cruise mode because that's the most efficient flight mode. And then in speed mode, you don't want to push too much because the drag increases. The ratio between drag and speed is square. So if you increase the speed 2 times, the drag increases 4 times. So you want to be careful with that because sometimes people just like dive down and push really hard and they don't come back. You don't want to do that. You want to keep the nose down just a little bit. It depends on the model. Some models are a little bit slower, some are faster. This one is on like a faster model, so I keep the nose 2-3 degrees down, and I just keep it that way, and just wait. The bottle will come back, even though it doesn't look like it. It will come back. So you need some patience. And when you do the same thing in cruise mode, it's the same, but it happens slower, so you need a little bit more time. And now, So again, most models they're molded in cruise mode, so speed would be half a millimeter, maybe a millimeter up on the flaps. That's better. Okay.
You mentioned snap flaps on launch. Can you explain that?
We'll get to that
come back
when
to
we
that?
get to the model setup.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, this is the model setup, but yeah, we'll get to that. Actually, that's the model setup. That's the like after that. Next flight mode is cruise. So, most models are molded in speed. So your flaps are going to be flush with the surface. Most DLGs anyway. Maybe not the same for FFJ. In cruise mode, that's the most efficient flight mode in terms of L over D. So you're going to cover the most amount of ground with a given altitude. So you're coming back or flying the most efficient way. That's the mode that I use. I would say 50% of the time when I want to like search for thermals or come back from downwind, but it's not really windy. Like right now, it's not windy. So right now, I'll come back in cruise mode. I'll keep the nose down just a little bit, and I'll come back. It'll take a little bit longer, but the model will come back and it will have plenty of altitude. And then if I hit a thermal on the way, I'm going to be fairly high, so I can catch it and thermal and climb out. The trim itself, usually just follow the instructions that the manufacturer gives you because they did the analysis, so they know which mode is the most efficient. But usually it's about 2 millimeters of down flap, that's the mode that I calibrate CG as well, but we'll get to that a little bit later. And the fifth mode is thermal. So that's the mode that I fly the other 50% of the time, because in a weather like this, when it's kind of easy, there's a lot of thermals. I want to fly again. Our mission is to fly as long as possible, not as far as possible. So if I'm scouting and the air is good, there's lots of thermals, I would fly in thermal mode because that's my minimum sink. So I would stay up. Again, if the air is completely dead, I will only fly in thermal mode because our task in a contest is to fly a certain amount of time. Like I don't care how far I fly. If I see a thermal, like somebody's marking a thermal or a bird, I would switch to either speed or cruise, most probably cruise, and I will fly there because that's where I want to be, because I need to do my time. If the air is dead or the interval between thermals is low, I will fly in thermal mode all the time because why not? In that mode, you get usually like 3.5 millimeters of down flaps, the plane will fly slower, but it will lose altitude. Like, it won't lose altitude as fast as the other modes. And then the 5.5 mode, I have it set on my slider. I can add a little bit more camber, another, like, I don't know, 6 millimeters extra. So if I'm in a weak thermal, or if I want to climb a little bit faster, well, when I'm in thermal, I can play with the amount of camber. So the more camber I have, the more, like, my lift coefficient is higher. So I can, like, the wing can generate more lift. So if I'm in a thermal and I increase camber a little bit, like, the model will just climb a little bit faster. You want to be careful with that, because if you add too much, it would look like the plane is flying so much better. It flies slow and nice, but at some point you increase the drag so much, so the plane will actually sink faster, even though it looks like it's flying nice and slow, but it will just sink faster. So you don't want to do that. So I rarely use, like, full camber, only when I, like, really need to, in a very weak thermal, on a, you know, dead conditions, like we had in the morning wasn't dead, but when the conditions are really dead, and I need to really get, like, every bit of lift that I can from the wing in a weak thermal, that's when I might use maximum camber. But I rarely use it. Usually, like, I'm kind of looking for a thermal mode. I'm cruising around. I find a thermal. As soon as I find a thermal, I add on my slider. I add like half of it, so that's another, I don't know, 2 millimeters extra, and that gives me sufficient, so I can still fly fast and have energy while I'm circling in thermal, but I increase the lift coefficient, so now I climb, like, my climb rate is faster than before. If it's windy, you don't want to do that, because you're generating too much drag, and the wind, like, the model becomes a little bit erratic and harder to fly. If it's really windy, I might not even use thermal mode at all. I would fly in cruise mode, because I need that extra energy to kind of to circle and fly. If it's turbulent, same thing. Like, I might not use thermal mode at all. Again, this is not strong wind, so on a day like this, I would definitely use thermal mode like 50% of the time. Yeah, and then some people, instead of having this on like the extra camber on the slider, they have it on the switch, so they have thermal 1 and thermal 2, which is okay. You have a little bit less control, but sometimes it's easier, and that works as well. Okay, any questions about flight modes?
Landing mode.
Oh, right, thank you. Landing. Yeah, for here it's not landing. But
I know,
yeah.
but it is.
It is. You're right. Yeah. So, landing mode on some radios, or some people prefer to have it as a different mode. Some don't. But landing mode, you have your flaps down. Again, as much as possible. Usually, like you give it like maximum deflection, and the elevator has to compensate, because if you deploy flaps without compensating with the elevator, the plane will pitch up, it will stall and fall, because you now generate more lift, so it'll pitch up. So you have to compensate with an elevator. So the way I usually trim it is that at maximum flaps, I keep my nose down, like I trim the elevator. So in this situation, this position here, the nose will be just a little bit down, because I need that kind of extra speed and energy. I don't want a situation that there's a gust and now the plane will do this, it'll fly back and stall or fall on the tail. So always keep the nose a little bit down, I don't know, like 5 degrees, 6 degrees, something like that. And then it is preferred, it's better if you have, for the elevator compensation, because it's not really linear. Yeah, that's a little bit, like, slightly more advanced stuff, but you wanna put the elevator compensation on the graph. So the graph will actually, it won't be like a straight line from 0 to maximum. It will be a little bit more flat, and then it will kind of dip down as you, I don't know, cross the middle, I would say. So it will dip down a little bit, like, to give a little bit of extra down elevator. But that's for, because if you don't do that, then you deploy half flaps, so the model will either dive too much or you'll pitch up too much. So you want to kind of play with that value a little bit. It's not super sensitive, but you do want to have like that 1 or 2 extra points on the graph, on that curve, that will give you that, I don't know, like, you know, for you to play with the amount of elevator compensation.
And the idea is you want on landing, what you want is you pull the flaps, it doesn't do anything. It just
Straight down.
you know, just basically does that kind of thing. It's not going like this.
But it can't work for all speeds, though. So
No,
it's
yes,
sort of
high
like
speed typically.
you need to make some adjustments. If you're coming fast, you need to make some.
Yeah, at high speed it'll probably put balloon on you a little bit.
Yeah, so
Once
in
it
high
settles.
speed, if I do the same thing in high speed, the model, like if I dive and now I deploy flaps, so the model, it will do this.
Built in.
So it will pitch down, but it will still climb because
Absolutely,
now I added more lift coefficient, so the wing generates more lift, and I'm flying so fast. So the model, you will see it would fly, it would dive down. I deploy flaps, it would do this, and then it will keep diving down. It will descent.
So you can't fix that initial bump with the curve.
Yeah,
you
you
gotta
can't
fly
really
that
do
out,
anything with it.
trying to
Yes.
get the regular.
Yeah, that's a given situation.
And the only other thing I would say also on my radio, I have more aileron-rudder mix in landing mode,
right,
and more differential.
correct. Yeah, so that's the model setup. So
Yeah.
we're kind of jumping forward a little bit, but when the flaps are fully deployed, so let's say in a normal situation I have, I don't know, just a little bit of rudder mix, like aileron to rudder, but when they're fully deployed, I have like 100%. And the ailerons also, they move a lot.
The ailerons are very ineffective when they're down, so you
Yes.
need the rudder to turn.
That's why I have a six servo model.
I know.
That really
I know.
helps. Yeah, so that's actually one of the bigger differences between a 4 servo model and a 6 servo model, because on the 4 servo model, and I know that Joe Doherty will not agree with me, he said he has some setup that he still roll well, but I haven't tried it, so I don't know. But what's happening now is that your wing, like when the flaps are fully deployed, your wing, and especially the wingtip, is stalling. Like it doesn't fly anymore. So when you try to turn, right? So now this is not really flying, and now this is kind of like this wing is starting to fly. So the model, it will not roll. It will kind of do, I don't know. You'll have a lot of pitch. So if I want to turn right, so the model will not roll. It would kind of do this. So it's really hard when you're coming in for a quick turnaround in landing mode. It's really hard with a 4 servo model. It's really hard to get it towards you, like to correct, especially if it's windy or turbulent. You have to be really accurate when you're coming in for landing and you want to grab the model, or you want to grab the peg. It's really hard with a 4 servo model. 6 servo model, I can, with flaps fully deployed, I can do rolls. I can turn and fly almost the same as if there are no flaps down. Yeah.
Are you drooping the ailerons as well in landing mode
Yes.
in the 6 servo? You are,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
just not as much.
Well, I do it as much as I can. So naturally, in a 6 servo model, the flaps, like the geometry is done in a way that flaps go down as much as possible because they need to go up like 5-6 millimeters. The ailerons, they have to go up 40-50 millimeters, and then down you get what you get.
Right.
You can have the same deflection, but that means that your geometry is like your servo arm is going to be so long, so you're going to lose resolution on the servos. It's going to be very sensitive,
Right.
Slack and all of that stuff. So you don't like you want to like you don't need it. Okay, so yeah,
Right.
you want to maximize the mechanical advantage of the entire servo movement for the flaps and for the ailerons.
Okay.
We used to use something that was called butterfly. So the ailerons will go up
Yes.
to increase the wind speed at the tips.
Yeah, so
Does that
some
still a thing?
people, yeah, some people still they do that, but then we discovered that
I tried that.
it doesn't fly.
That's
Yeah,
the
in
way I
F2J,
always done it.
Yeah, in F2J people used to do that. They don't do it anymore.
Yeah, after we did it, and then we didn't have that.
Yeah.
Kind of gone out of fashion. You have better control with the ailerons level.
I think the
So you
idea
just
with
get them flat in a way.
Yeah.
I think the idea with butterfly was like you want to create a huge air brake. So flaps full down, ailerons full up, so you create so much drag and the model descends. But I think over time, I don't know if it's something to do with the model designs, but if the entire wing just goes down as one flap, you stop like way faster.
They did
and-
get
and
lighter
better.
in models, so I'd be interested to see now that they've gotten heavy with F3Js. Maybe now F3J, maybe they've gone back to do it because
I don't know. I don't think so. I think I saw they still go
just do
fully
that.
down. Yeah. On F5J on my Ultima, I used to do that. Like butterfly, it was okay. And then somebody told me, like, why? Like try putting the other ones down. I was like, what? But like you still, I was like, just try. So I tried it, and then the model, like I fly fast and just I deploy flaps, and the model just stops. And yeah, in a four servo wing, it's much easier to control because you can still leave the flaps down. So you still descending fast to create this drag that you want, then you can still roll and correct, like have a good roll authority to come for a quick turnaround in a DLG or a spot landing in an F5J or F3J. So that's the thing, like you have kind of more control in that flight mode. I think that's it for flight modes. Yeah, okay. Now the harder part, which is the model setup.
I got
Yes.
one. What I do in launch and zoom is my rudder is disabled, so that if you're holding it by the rudder stick like I do, you can't accidentally hit the rudder. So the aileron,
Your thumb is like, if your thumb does that, like when you grab the transmitter, that can be bad.
you know, if you grab the transmitter and do that, because I've disabled the rudder in launch mode, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't move at all
That's
my
true.
rudder.
Yeah, that's
have to
yeah.
check for
I
that.
don't have that, but yeah, that's a good thing to do.
So I don't have to worry about how I grab my transmitter. As long as I'm holding the transmitter and pull the switch, stick can be down too, because
As soon as you let go the launch button, you have rudder
yes.
again.
One of the few things lefties don't have to worry about.
Yeah, that's a good thing to add. One more thing that I want to add is that in zoom mode, so if you look at my elevator, because I want to have as much pushover as I want. So when I'm in zoom mode, I have a lot of down travel. But when I'm in any other mode, I have much less because I don't need this much down travel when I'm in any other flight mode. I need it only for the pushover. So that actually helps quite a bit. And then on some models, as soon as you, especially OpenTX or HTX, as soon as you like hit that trigger for the amount of down or up elevator, it will immediately snap to other flight modes, and then you don't get the full travel. The template that I used that was done by Michael Stern in the UK. So like as long as I'm in zoom, I have full down travel, and only when I go back, like at some threshold, only when I hit that threshold on the way back, then it will snap out of zoom mode and I will have less travel. So I don't have like this.
Yeah, my threshold is up or down.
Yes.
So whatever I
No, what he's saying is it's up or down, yeah, but the way mine, maybe yours works, is as soon as you hit that up threshold, it
you
switches out.
switches right away.
His
Two
comes
steps.
out on the way back.
Yeah, it's 2 steps. So it's not
Yeah, it's like 2 steps because now I still have the maximum amount of down travel in zoom mode.
And how do you achieve that? Like,
Programming.
I'm just thinking of the programming. How?
extra logical switches, basically.
Yeah, an extra logical
Yeah, probably what two or three more, I assume.
Two or three more.
I see.
I think two should
Like,
do.
You don't have that.
I haven't done it yet. I'm planning on
Yeah, no,
doing it.
because I study
he showed
yours
me
a lot.
He showed it to me, and I thought that's a good idea, but I haven't actually sat down and done it yet because I have to propagate it across a whole bunch of models. But it's a very good idea because I have that same problem. I don't have enough down. As soon as he flew my airplane, he said, "Oh, you don't want to."
Oh, you feel it immediately because you have so much down and then nothing. It's like you see the mode that does this, and then barely has enough.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We're just trying to think how to achieve that with programming. But okay.
Well, you're gonna turn a latch on as soon as you do. Where you normally now you just switch up. You're gonna turn a latch on, and then you're gonna pull the latch.
Like a sticky.
on.
Yeah, when you go up or down, have a sticky, and then
come back.
then I assume that when you come back, you hit a threshold, you
Shouldn't
have
be a big
another
deal.
thing that's
No, no.
happening, and then
I'll work on it.
there's an end between them,
Yeah.
and then it does
Okay.
what it needs to do.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
And yeah, what else? What else?
So if you don't have that, just push a bit earlier.
That's what try to work on it. But
Yeah, or again, another way is to have full down travel all the time.
Yeah, then it's gonna be
but
hard to fly.
that's a pain, because when you want to correct a little bit, like when you're in the thermal and the plane pitches up, you want to correct a little bit, you'll find yourself just do this instead of just pushing the.
no, it makes a lot of
little
sense.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, on this model I don't have that much down travel, but I think on others I have a lot, because I built this one in 3 hours. So yeah.
Build.
Yeah, I mean that was like probably one of the best build I've done. In Germany, I got a new model. So okay, I have like until the end of the day to fly, because processing was like the next day or something. So, setting up the model. One of the more important things is the CG, but the CG there's no right or wrong, because you'll find people, Americans, who fly super aft CG. Let's say if I fly this model at let's say around 70 millimeters, they will fly like 78 or 80. And then you will find other people, Croatians, that fly like 60. Okay, so it's a very personal thing, but it's very important, because that will kind of that's like the basis of how the model will behave and react when you fly. Again, just fly, how it will signal thermal, how it will behave in a thermal or any other mode. This is like the basis for everything. For me, and I guess most people, I like it to be slightly forward towards like the neutral side. So that means that the way I calibrate the CG, again, I at home I set it up the way I think it needs to be set up. Come to the field, I fly it in cruise mode, I trim it so it will fly nice and level, and then I do the dive test. So the dive test goes like this. So you start diving. If the model pitches up like really fast, that means that you have a very
Nose head.
forward CG, because you have, let's say you have like a kilo in the nose, so that means you need to have 45 degrees of compensation in flight level. But when you increase the speed, the elevator generates more lift, so it'll pitch up really fast. The other way around, like it's the same, but for aft CG, it's the same thing, but the other way around. So you start your dive, the model will pitch down.
So which mode are you conducting that test in?
Cruise.
In cruise. Okay.
Yeah, because that's like the
Standard.
that's the baseline.
That's the baseline.
Yeah, the baseline for everything.
Right on. Okay.
So-
With that said, do you guys use your trim, like in my case it's flight mode 0 for cruise? The trim will be flight mode 0 plus offset?
Up to you. So I used to do that. I used to have my like own trim for each flight mode, but then again with this template, it's all like it's speed. So it's flight mode speed and then plus offset.
Plus offset.
So I need to, when I come in the morning, I toss my plane in speed mode and I see how it behaves. I trim it. And after that, maybe I do like 1 or 2 launches,
And everything else follows.
Yeah, and then everything else
That's
follows.
why I started doing this, and it made a lot of sense.
Yes, yeah. You can probably do it with any other mode, like have that as your baseline. I'm sure there are pros and cons for each. For me, this is how this template worked, and I just kind of got used to it. I can see how it can be done with cruise as your baseline, and then everything else is relative to that, like whatever. I think Joe Doherty does it
We just have mine just has own trim.
for
And
each.
then I have a G-var that I can adjust to do the global trim. So when I come out in the morning and say, temperatures change or whatever, I just pull the switch and I can just adjust all those again.
So you're just changing a base trim.
Yeah, we compensate for like temperature change or whatever. So whatever.
So that's something you guys do it regularly. You come here, toss it, check it. Yeah, because I launched it this morning and
I saw that.
in a loop.
I saw that when we got here. Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that.
Because the temperature changes can change the length of the boom, you need to do that multiple times.
It
a day,
actually changes,
possibly.
not the boom.
The string
Carbon
or
fiber
what?
doesn't contract or
What's changing then?
Yeah, but the cable. the steel cable
Something changes.
changes the length just a little bit, but these planes are so sensitive that it's like a little like.
Because that's the thing. I was flying so well last week.
Yeah.
I threw it here so confident that I had such a good.
Always do a light throw.
I know. I learned today. I
So
learned that.
the first thing I do when I launch for the first time of the day, I look down at my elevator and make sure it's what I
Yes.
expect it to be, and I pull the launch switch and I make sure it does what I expect it to do.
Yeah,
That
I
way-
did all that. Like everything was moving the way I would expect, but I'm just not familiar with the
So
right
you need to get
position.
familiar with how much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And,
normal.
You know, it's
Yeah.
a little scary.
So somebody told me that he did a test. A Croatian guy, Mimi. So he told me he did a test. So he took several steel cables, hanging on the wall, and he, like so one side was tied to the ceiling. The other side he put a bottle of beer, which is what Croatians do. And then he just waited. So and then he marked where it is. It came like the next day. It was harder. He looked, and then it sagged a little bit, and then when it was cold, it went up. So
You could tell.
he could tell. Yeah, it's big. Like it's really, I mean, he didn't put a wire this long. He put much longer so you
Of
can
course, it
see
would
it.
be easier. Yeah.
And a bottle of beer is half a kilo.
He was
so-
not drinking the beer.
Well, he might. I think he has a
After
case
the
of beer on
test.
the side
Just
always,
to watch it?
just
Yeah.
for that. Yes.
Okay, and what kind of cables are you guys using?
I'm using Beetalon number 8, was it? I think it's like 0.3 millimeters, something like that. But actually what he found is that a thin wire, like 0.1 or 0.2 millimeters, it like the deflection is less than others. And the reason is that because you have less material
To stretch.
to change, to stretch or contract, which kind of makes sense. It doesn't do that for the rudder, but the rudder is not that sensitive. Like if the rudder is a little bit off, you probably won't feel it too much. The elevator, oh yes, you'll feel it because these planes are really sensitive to pitch. So that's something that he found. I never tried it. Some people like Toby Herrera, like the Gorilla, I think he uses a push rod, a carbon push rod, so that's not an issue.
That's what my Sidewinder used to have.
Yeah. The old planes they all
Yeah.
used to be
They
like
didn't
that.
drift. The ones with the carbon push rods,
They don't drift.
elevator didn't drift.
Yeah. You do it once when you set up the model, and you never try to touch it again.
Yeah. I'm still using most of my planes. I have spider wire. I don't like the Beetalon. Beetalon is springy.
Yeah, but it has that nice coating.
I know, but
You're right. I mean,
spider wire, because like a lot of the Beetalon stretches from the loop, because the loop kind of goes. You can watch it. It kind of stretch. It straightens
Okay,
out.
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because
So like Roy had that thing. You have to push it at the end.
I do that as well. Yeah.
But it still is springy. But the spider wire does not do that.
what's the spider wider again?
Fishing line. It's
Fishing line.
Yeah.
Fishing line.
Yeah, I know some people
Jody. We use
like
Jody.
free flight
Jody
guys.
wire.
They use Spectra.
Jody wire. Necklace.
Yeah.
Something like a next Jody wire.
Yeah, that's what the Betalon is it? Right?
It's what, sorry?
for
Yeah.
it's
for
for
beats. Yeah.
beats, eh?
Yeah.
That's what I bought, like 7-string or 49, something like that.
So yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't
I know
remember
that
that.
free
Check
flight
it
guys
later.
they use Spectra, which is Kevlar. But I tried it once, and after not long time, it just rips because it has fibers. And
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't
Like
it doesn't hold all the time.
Yeah,
Very-
because I even use it here. And so there's no you're not rubbing on it, cutting it. Nobody else does it this way.
Did your camera shift?
It makes sense. And the spring for the loop that you mentioned, it makes a lot of sense. And I actually could see on my map.
Yeah. No, I noticed I noticed the first time I tried the thing, like this is like it doesn't move, and the first one I did, I don't know what it was, but it's like so springy. So I keep meaning this one came with a little
thing
wire.
on the end of the wire there.
Yeah?
That's made by Beetalon. It's a little thing to make the loop.
Oh yeah, a little ferrule. That would help too.
Yeah, I mean there are probably ways around it. I think it's more critical. It's more critical for the elevator than it is for the rudder.
I also usually use longer ones.
Yeah.
I find them very simple.
And do you guys release the spring every time they go home?
No. I mean I don't.
I do.
Yeah, they do. I don't. By the way, usually when you build a new model, so you do everything, and then you come a day later to the field, you'll see that your elevator rudder, the cable stretch a little bit because they have a constant strain from the spring. It's not a lot, but still something. So over time, it stretches. So when I build a new model, I always make sure that the loop, like the wire, the very first time, it goes a little bit extra, but just a tiny bit, like half a millimeter more.
Saddles.
Yeah, and then exactly, and then in a day or two, it will saddle like around the zero. Maybe then in the field, I need to trim it just a little bit, and it's good to go.
Yeah, because I started releasing my elevator because I'm under the impression that one of the springs wants to come through. So I go, maybe I should be, releasing
Like
it.
from the actual thing.
Yeah, I'll show you.
So yeah, so what I do to prevent that, when I put the springs in the tail, I have like a Teflon tube. So I put that, I glue that in like with thin CA to get just to bond that tube, and then to make the whole area more rigid. So the spring, it doesn't push. It's not as sharp. It spreads the load like more evenly around it. So I don't have that issue because I used to have that. Like over time, it just
Yeah, I'll show you because one of them is coming through, and I remember Patrick removing his tail. So as soon as I saw that, that's when I started doing it.
Yeah, so I just when I build it, some people I think that they just put thin CA, and then it makes the foam very rigid, like around the spring, and that's probably good enough. But I used to do that for 20 years, so it works well. So that's what I do.
Haven't built one brand new yet, so
Yeah, because you don't need it at this end because it's all hard from the horn, right? When you glue the horn on the skin, it's that end. I don't do it this end. Do it the horn end or only the tailor end?
I go to the horn end.
Because the horn, I find the row cell's gotten all hard from the CA.
No, so I use I take like 1 millimeter drill bit, or actually a little bit more, like 1.2 drill bit, and with my hand I just drill a hole deep enough so I can put that tube in, like next to the horn. The thing is, if you don't put the spring next to the horn and put it inside,
Yeah,
like,
the line's right beside the horn.
yeah, that's okay, but because otherwise it will
Yeah,
like
it twists.
you twist, like after a couple of months you'll see the elevator just the spring is not where the horn is.
That's why I kind of like to take them off because even if you had it here, it'll slowly twist it.
Yeah, but the other thing, I don't like. I have one side
Yeah.
horn, and the other side is in the bigger part of the elevator, so it doesn't twist.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one way. Yeah, I can actually see it after when the glass tail. It's transparent. It's easier to see. Okay, so the setup. So after I set up the CG and I do it in the field like this way, so. The way I want the model to behave is that when I put it into dive at, let's say 45 degrees, it will take it like 3 or 4 seconds. It will kind of pitch up or level flight after like 3 or 4 seconds. If it's a little bit more, that's okay. But just want that behavior. And then after that, usually I tune this speed mode so that there's a force, so the model will be kind of neutral. So if I put it at a certain angle, you'll more or less maintain that. It will try to pitch up like super slow, but it will more or less maintain that angle, and it's less workload for me when I need to push back. I don't need to think about the pitch or angle. Thermal mode. Again, you just trim it to be kind of like nice and level. Usually the deflections in thermal mode are reduced because you don't want the plane to be very edgy. When you're in thermal, you want to fly smooth and kind of more efficient with drag, so the deflections are reduced by 20-30% compared to other modes. Speed mode, it's the opposite. In speed mode, you want it to be more twitchy and more aerobatic because it's fun, and you want that extra agility from the model. And cruise is somewhere in the middle. Then the next thing I tune, and that's something that is kind of hard to do, is the amount of differential. So models with two circle wing, they will always, I want to say, will need a reverse differential. Meaning, a regular differential is when the aileron that goes up goes more than the one that goes down. With these, it's the opposite. The one that goes down more than the one that goes up. The reason is that you have, when you do that, especially on a large surface like this, you have pitch coupling. So imagine that only one side of the one aileron goes down. So the plane will not do this because now the wind generates more lift. So the plane will do this. That it will roll and pitch up. And again, having reverse differential. So did I say it the other way around?
Well, if it's the one way, is going to you do a wiggle test. Wiggle the plane back and forth. You want it just to go like this. If it goes like this, then you've got too much down, but not enough up. If it goes like that, you got too much up, not enough.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember the adverse yaw. Right?
Adverse yaw is a different thing.
Yeah, that's different.
But
The two are kind of related, but this is pitch, because what you want is, like in a thermal turn, for instance, say, oh, I want to tighten it up. You don't want the plane to pitch when you give out aileron. You just want it to roll. So I mean, it's going to do a couple things initially. It's going to do like this kind of stuff. So you got to tune out that climb and dive, and then you got to tune out the.
Yeah, because what I remember was with adverse yaw, 'cause the one that goes down breaks
Yes.
a little bit of the wind, so you have a little bit
That's
of
the aileron-rudder mix.
Yeah, that's why you have a rudder mix.
That's the rudder mix fixes that.
Yeah,
Ideally, you just want the plane when you do those little rolls just to go like this, and it's gonna descend because you're losing lift.
Of course,
It's gonna descend a little bit, but you don't want it to like pitch one way or the other.
Violent. Should just be
Yeah, exactly.
If
So
you do it slow, really slow.
But different plane has different.
Yeah, that's why you gotta fly the airplane.
That's why that's why
I
the
remember
aircraft
that
do-
Vertex is reverse.
they all reverse. Yeah.
Reverse.
I think Concept has normal differential. Actually.
Normal.
I don't know.
And then Vortex is negative differential.
I think every model that I had, starting from the NXT until
Yeah.
5, they all have reverse differential. Some have more, some have less. I had a Tweedle.
You can't really look at the number either. Like the number on the screen could be negative, positive because the throw is so screwy on a DLG. You know, it's got so much more down than up. It ends up needing a fairly big number anyway.
Yeah, like
to get
just
it
don't look at the number. You just need to tune it in when it
Yeah,
flies. So the way to do it is you put the plane in a slow dive, and then you start rolling. Okay, so you want a plane when you do this, you want the plane to kind of keep going at the same angle. If it pitches up, like Pat said, if it does this, that means that your down movement is too much, or the up movement is not enough. So
Blow my mind.
yeah, so that's
Now you also have to tune out that yaw. That's the
that's
rudder's
the that's the other.
And then
part.
you might
So
have to like go back again because the two do interact, right?
something like that. Yeah.
So
But
it's
yeah,
kinda
but
like that.
usually like the adverse yaw effect is pretty small, especially on new DLGs. Maybe the old ones.
And if you
because
put
they
in 10% aileron rudder mix at the beginning, it's probably going to be pretty close. Right?
pretty much, yeah.
So you tune that out.
Yeah, exactly. So you do that for each flight mode. It's kind of hard to do, and I think the best way to do it is if the plane is kind of flying towards you. So you start doing this, and then you can kind of the differential, you tune it when the plane flies sideways. So you can really see that pitch up or pitch down effect, and you want to tune it like as close as possible to perfect roll. This is like really important when you're in a thermal and you want to change directions. You will really feel it because you're circling right, and now you say, oh, the thermal is right here, so I'm going to change the direction. If you have it tuned correctly, so the plane will just do this and it will circle nicely. If you don't have it tuned properly, so you're circling and the plane will kind of start doing this. and
that's
fall
me
from
flying.
the wing. And then you have to work
That's
a
me.
lot. Yeah, and then if you're really close to the ground, you're just going to find yourself on the ground. So that thing is a little bit hard to tune because it's kind of based on your vision.
But now I already have a plan for the next time I'm flying, so I can look for that.
Yeah, exactly. And then you tune that for each flight.
Ideally, it's calm weather.
That's right.
Ideally, you do it in calmer weather.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you want to come like really early or really late in the day. Like, because late in the day is probably better because you don't have wind. The ground is really hot, so everything is very buoyant and floaty, and then you have a lot of confidence. Like, oh, I can fly for like 3 minutes, but you don't. But it makes you feel good. And yeah, you do that for each flight mode. So speed, cruise, thermal, again landing, no, and zoom as well. But zoom, the reason why you do it for zoom is because sometimes when you launch, you want to go back, so you can do this. And then if it's not tuned properly, and you start turning, the plane kind of do this, and then it will be screwed up. But it's like if you have the zoom settings the same as speed, it's close enough because the difference between zoom and speed is really, it's usually just like a little bit of elevator trim. The differential is pretty much the same. So that one, like you want to tune it as well, but not that critical, I would say, or less critical. And then the next thing is to tune the aileron to rudder mix. So that's where you have the adverse yaw. So when you do this, like the plane, I'm exaggerating, but like because the aileron that goes down more, so now it'll push the nose to the right because it creates more drag. So you kind of want to tune that as well. So the rudder will help you to get into the turn a little bit better. The way to tune that is that you do the same thing. Like you dive down a little bit and then you start rolling, banking left and right. But you want the model to fly towards you so you can see where the nose goes and correct accordingly. The amount of trim the mix that you have to do is like 2, maybe 3 millimeters. That's it. So it's very, like the effect is extremely small. On the 6 servo model, I think it's even smaller because it's a little more.
Don't have as much drag.
Yeah. And the one thing I'm not really sure how to tune properly is the flaps differential on a 6 servo model. And that's actually really critical on a 6 servo model. So I'm not sure how to tune that properly because you have the whole wing kind of moving. So I don't know. I did had when I just flew the first time I flew the Vortex 5 in Poway, like it wasn't tuned properly. Like the flaps differential wasn't tuned at all. It was just like a number. And I had really hard time this year when it got really windy. I couldn't fly it in the thermal mode. It just didn't fly well. And when I talked to Roy, the designer, and then I was in the competition, I was texting him. It's like, hey, like that doesn't work well in thermal mode. Like, it's like, okay, you need to tune the flap. It's like, okay, how do I do that? Like, I'm in a contest. So he was like in the field at the same time, and he's like, hey, try this, and I do this like between rounds, and
It worked out.
it didn't work that well. It was better, but only like a week or two later when things settled down a little bit, then we had time to like really check it and test it, and now it's like really good. But I don't know if it's the same. You know what? No, on the Vortex 4 it's not that sensitive. On the 5 it's pretty sensitive, or more sensitive to flaps differential to have the correct one. Because if you don't have the correct one in thermal and in wind,
Just the camera.
Sorry, camera.
Okay, still rolling.
can you even see me from there?
Yeah, very small people. No problem. This distance, okay.
Yeah. And then okay, so we have any questions for that, because that's like the second most important thing. The rest is not.
I have one question.
Yes.
That you just mentioned the differ.
Yes.
If you're in different mode, for example, thermal mode.
Yeah.
Still the same.
No. So for each flight mode, it's the same. Sorry. For each flight mode, it's different. Because like now in thermal, so I have more camber. So again, the wing generates lift like a little bit differently. So it is going to be different for each flight mode. It's not the same.
I think the concept I have them pretty much the same for every flight mode, but maybe that's what I need to do. This one is tune them all for each.
Yeah, you need to check it. Again, I never owned the concept, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I know that I think the snipe
but it's
as
small
well.
small changes between
Yeah.
modes.
The change is not huge.
So if you just did it for
Yes,
cruise, you'll be
absolutely.
really close. Probably.
For example, in a normal plane, for example, the Yoda.
Yeah.
Positive differ. Yes.
Yeah.
Up.
Yeah.
More and
Yeah.
slow. But if you in thermal mode.
Yeah.
That means they became the same, almost the same, up and down, almost
No,
the
it will
same.
be a little bit different. It will be a little bit different.
You just gotta
again,
test.
by like
You just
1
have to try
millimeter
it.
maybe,
Ah.
like 1 millimeter, 1.5 millimeters,
Ah.
maybe. Like not, it's not a huge difference. It's not like another 5. No.
So you mean that in different mode you must set a different,
Yes.
different,
each flight mode.
different, different.
Yeah, each flight mode needs to have its
Different.
setup.
Wow. Okay. I just wish one.
Yeah, it takes some time to get you to tune it and get used to it. That's why it's easy when somebody, usually the manufacturer, especially if he flies, or the designer, it really helps because he knows what to look for, and he gives you settings, and they're usually like ballpark okay. Then from there you can change it to the way you like to fly. So some people like more movement, like for the plane to be more agile or calmer, or I don't know. Like it's a very kind of
This thing
Again,
had
it's a good starting point.
crazy low throws recommended. Like the recommended throws for this were just nowhere near enough. I could barely fly the airplane.
yeah.
It was like so slow. It was like
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
It was really slow.
so I turned them way up, but
Yes. Yeah, but you can tune it up as long as the ratio
Yeah.
is the same. Like if you maintain it, it should be okay. Okay, that's for differential, which is probably the second most important thing after CG. Any questions about that? Okay. The next thing we have is the snap flap. So what snap flap does is it when you push up, so the elevator pushes the tail down, pitch up. Once you add this more camber to the wing, you'll do the same thing, just way more efficiently. So you will need less travel, so that means less drag. Because you increase the lift on the wing a little bit, and then you decrease the lift on the elevator a little bit, and overall you get kind of like the similar effect. The result is that you will need to move like your stick much less. It reduces the pilot load quite a bit. It's more, you can feel it much more in an F5J. I flew my Ultima a couple weeks ago. I forgot that I didn't have a snap flap, and I just didn't fly the plane. I was circling, I need more up, and all of a sudden like it jumps, like it kind of, I don't know, it snaps in. The next week I added snap flap, and now I just need to touch the elevator a little bit, and that's what I want. It's much easier to fly.
snap flap's a terrible name. It used to mean something different. It used to mean sudden.
Okay.
Now it's more elevator to flap mix. Really.
Sure.
Well, we call it snap flap, but it's not really snap flap. Right?
Okay, so elevator to flap, yeah.
And you guys use it at all times.
All the time. Yes. So in all flight modes, even for the pushover, is the same thing. I want to push over like when I launch
So you're
as fast as I can.
You're trying to make lift down, so you want camber.
Yeah,
so
so I want to reduce lift from the wing, so it will kind of pitch down because the wing, other than lift, it generates a moment. So around the CG, because let's say the CG is here, and the center of lift is right here. I'm exaggerating, right? So if I reduce the lift, so now I have my pitch up or down moment changes as well. Like it helps. Like it's not the same point. That's why you have either aft or forward CG. You almost never fly in neutral CG because then the distance between the neutral point, the distance between the lift center and the CG, when you don't have that couple, like the plane becomes naturally unstable. Well, not unstable, but becomes very neutral. So whatever you do in every flight mode, you will maintain the same attitude, same pitch, and everything, and like you have to work hard. So that's why you want the CG to be a certain distance from that point. So you have that extra moment and play with it. The way to tune the snap flap, there was something with the loop test.
Yeah, I don't know that one either.
I don't remember. Yeah, so when you dive and you push up, you want the model to do at least 4 or 5 loops.
Yeah, and they should sort of be like smooth loops. If it does this kind of thing, Like if it gets to the top and then flops over, that's not good. You want it to sort of loop.
Yeah,
They should look like loops almost, as much as possible.
Yeah, and then so you want it to do at least 4 or 5 loops, so to maintain energy. Because if you have too much snap flap, it means that you pour too much elevator to flat mix.
We'll call it snap flap, but it's not.
That means that you have a lot of flap travel, which creates drag, and then the thing loses the energy when it goes up.
Can you show me?
See, he's just moving the elevator stick. You'll see it on your model. You'll see it on it. Our program has that as well.
Basically, camber adjustment.
Right. Okay.
To coincide with the amount of lift you're asking for.
Yeah, and then you can have. I mean, I have it set up the same for like up and down movement. Some people like they have it only for up, and some people have a different setup for up or down. I have it the same because I mean I don't use down as much anyway, so I didn't find that critical. But again, it's a personal preference.
Joe says put it both, so that's good enough reason
Sorry?
for me. Joe W says
Both.
both.
Yeah,
So
I have
that's
it
a
in
good
both
enough
as
reason
well.
for me.
Yeah, I have it in both. I always done it this way. I don't know, works okay, so I don't touch it. Okay, what else do we have? Yeah, so in lending, yeah, we talked about it. So